Welcome to the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast, coming to you straight from the smallest big town in Texas with your host, mentor, and owner financing master, Mitch, a.k.a. Be the Bank Stephen. The possibilities of life without a J-O-B start here. So grab your pen and paper and listen up. Y'all just might figure out how to fail forward to financial freedom.
Hi, this is Mitch Stephen, and I'm here with REInvestorSummit.com with another fantastic guest. Actually, I have two guests, a Mr. and a Mrs., and they are some outstanding, phenomenal business people. Imagine if you came to a new country to learn a new language and start a new business. You think that would be a little bit of a challenge? Well, here's some people that have come from different parts of the world, came to the United States of America, started in the regular, we all started out, most of us, kind of had a J-O-B and figured out that was going nowhere, and then decided to jump off into entrepreneurial. That's where fun started. And they have a great story to tell. They've been very, very successful. Well, let me introduce Jack and Michelle Bosch, B-O-S-C-H, and we're here to talk about a mastermind that they're putting together. How are y'all doing today, Jack, Michelle?
We're doing great. Thank you for having us.
We're doing awesome. Thank you, Mitch, for having us.
I met Jack at another mastermind group that was really fantastic. We met at a mastermind group, but it had to dealing with real estate and creative real estate strategies, and it was very niche, very, very niche. It was mostly about finding new product and where to find product and how to maximize your profits. And it really changed my life. And so I've become a real believer in mastermind groups, because when you get to sit in the room with a bunch of other successful people who are not your competitors, and you can stand up in front of them or they can stand up in front of you and show the numbers and show the results and, openly be transparent about not only the books and the finances, but be transparent about the struggles, not just business struggles, but also family and personal struggles mixed in with business. Because as we know, business is not without life, and we all have lives outside of business, so they commingle and they get tangled up. So I want to bring them on because I was talking to Jack a couple of days ago, and he's telling me about this mastermind group that he's putting together, and I thought, man, this would be fantastic for everybody here at REInvestorSummit.com, because this covers everybody. This covers anyone who has a business. So I would like to invite, who wants to go first, Michelle or Jack? I want to invite you to tell us a little bit about what your mastermind is about.
So the Ultimate Boardroom is really a mastermind designed for the business owner out there that is growth-oriented, that seeks growth, but that is at a level right now that no matter what he's doing in terms of he can't put really any more hours, any more energy, any more effort. They're completely either exhausted or overworked, and they've hit a ceiling of what can be done, but they want growth. And so they know they want that growth, but they don't know how to go about it. And so really, we start with 4 pillars. The Ultimate Boardroom is about looking at 4 pillars of growth, which are very pretty much business fundamentals. You'll find this in any business. If you want to grow, you have to be looking at these 4 things. And that is the leader themselves and trying to find out what is the why for the leader, for the business owner, the team that is coming on board to help you create this growth and sustain this growth, the processes and the strategies, and pretty much all the tactics that come with the how, in order to make this rocket ship go. Most of us start with the tactics because when you're in business as an entrepreneur, you need to pay your bills, you need to do payroll, you need to find cash. Cash flow is important, and so you say yes to everything. And so what you find is that you find yourself trying to get the momentum going, and you get the momentum going, but there's nothing to sustain that momentum. And so I think that's where the Ultimate Boardroom comes in terms of guiding business owners and entrepreneurs through really first leadership development, because only when you are at a level of leadership can you really comprehend and understand the need to develop yourself in this area. If you want extended capability and an extended capacity as a business owner, not just in front of your family, but in front of your business, but as a leader in your industry, there is some leadership development that needs to happen, yeah? And so from there, again, we go and walk you through the second pillar, which is looking at what is your corporate identity? What are your core values? How are you going to attract the perfect team to come on board that aligns with your mission, with your vision, yeah? And then from there, we go to the strategy, which is, again, okay, let's look at all the things that we're doing right now. Are they the biggest bang for the buck? Are they the biggest pumpkin? If not, we need to either stop doing them or identify the one piece of the area that the business that you absolutely love to do and that will give you the highest margins, the highest impact, the highest 10x growth in terms of, like I said, either revenues, profits, impact, and meaning.
Or even non-monetary things like meaning and so on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Ultimate Boardroom, as Michelle said, is the name of our mastermind that has a coaching aspect to it. Because one of the things we realized, Mitch and you and I were in the same mastermind, and this mastermind was basically specifically about figuring out ways to get more deals and things like that in the real estate space. Very, very niche. And I've been part of many other masterminds, and in other masterminds it was all about how to do the marketing for internet marketing, or how to do, it's always about the niche. And what masterminds are great at allowing somebody to stand up and say, you know what, this is not working in my business right now, and then have the group of the other attendees of the mastermind basically come in and say, you know what, I've seen this before, and that happened to me 3 years ago or last year, or I just went through this, and here's how I fixed. Or they're great at saying, you know what, here's a relationship that I have. I know somebody who can help you fix this, and that you can fix burning issues that are happening right now in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, because if you think about it, Mitch, like entrepreneurs are like these, I think of them as like gladiators. If you've ever heard of, that speech from Roosevelt, I mean, entrepreneurs are the man in the arena, pretty much. And we need protection and support. But because of this gladiator image, it's a paradox. We're the ones that least have it, and we are constantly bombarded with all kinds of noise and pressure from the daily grind of our business. And really a mastermind offers that opportunity to break away, to step away from it, from all the noise and the pressure, and really discuss important things about the business that really affect your life, or important things about your life that affect your business, because we're not fragmented individuals. We're whole people. However, when we look at fixing things, we look at just either fixing our marketing or fixing our lead conversion or fixing specific aspects, but not really a holistic.
Right, and that's usually, and then we have talked for quite a bit here, but after I say this, I'm going to shut up for a moment. So masterminds are great at that, fixing the burning issue, but what Michelle just said, I 100% agree, is where they're not good is looking at the business from higher stance, from a 10,000 feet level, and say like, well, look at that. What pieces of your business are broken in the first place so that the hot button issue happened in the first place? We looked at each other and says like, when we created the Ultimate Boardroom, we wanted to basically solve both issues, because we didn't want to just put another mastermind where everyone gets their today's burning issue solved, but we also wanted to create something that everyone can look at their business from a 10,000 feet level and say, oh my God, I don't have this piece and that piece and that piece, which is reflected by those 4 pillars that Michelle talked about, the why, the who, the what, and the how. And then we not only wanted them to identify that that there are certain pieces missing, but we wanted to give them the guidance on how to actually fill them, because that's the process we have gone through. It's an ongoing process that you go on as your business reaches the next level. You got to go back in, you got to fill holes again, and so on. Something that will never end, but most people are not even aware that you have to do it in the first place. So what we have done is we basically married the 2 concepts into what we call a business coaching mastermind, which is basically a mastermind with the coaching aspects, where when we meet, we spend a part of the time on sharing these concepts that help people identify their gaps and help them fill them, and masterminding where they can figure out whatever the burning hot issue in the business is that's currently falling apart and have that fixed, and talk about marketing strategies and things like that if that is something that they need help with.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this topic is very near and dear to me. I've been in business myself 20 years doing the same thing. And I've tried to get big and tried to automate. I've tried and failed 3 times. But I tried by myself. out of my own head, out of my own wits. And looking back now, after being to several mastermind meetings, it's no wonder that I failed, because I didn't know what I didn't know. And so there was this big reservoir of knowledge that I had no way to even pull from, because I wasn't even remotely aware that the reservoir was there. I found a set of words pretty interesting. You said feeling of complexity. Would you talk to me about what that means? Because I think when you mash all this down, this is the perfect 3 words to describe when an entrepreneur taps out. He can't work any more hours of the day. He can't handle any more orders. He can't write any more contracts. He can't deposit any more money because he's in his own way. But would you tell me what feeling of complexity means to you in this group?
Sure, I can. I mean, feeling complexity is a term that I think was coined by a gentleman by the name of Dan Sullivan. It really means that you as an entrepreneur, not you, but out there, the entrepreneur, typically entrepreneur, you have a certain skill set, and you have a certain capacity, complexity of attaining things, and you are where you are in life. And I love what you said, that you basically tried yourself and you didn't even know that there was a reservoir. And that's what happens to every business owner out there. They're out there and they're hustling and they're trying on their own, and particularly the beginning investor is going to be somebody that makes it on pure ego, on pure just like going for it and says yes to everything and just makes things happen. And then at some point of time, they get to the level where they have so many raving customers and they have so many clients that they can't handle them all themselves anymore. And they need to do a switch from being basically the operator to becoming the manager, to becoming the owner, to becoming the visionary, to becoming the person, the leader of the organization. And usually what happens is when they hit that point, when stuff starts falling through the cracks, the employees, if they already have some employees, starting becoming stupid, and I mean that in a funny kind of way, because they're not starting to become stupid. They just have no guidance because...
And you're overworked and tired, and when you're overworked and tired, everyone around you starts feeling like they're stupid.
Exactly. So you're like, can't these guys figure this out? I mean, how hard is it to do X, Y, Z, and so on? When you start seeing those things, when an entrepreneur starts saying those things, that's a clear sign that they hit the limit of what they can currently entertain in terms of their business. And that's the point where they need to start basically stop for a moment and start gaining more ability, growing as a leader, looking above what they can see, and basically learn the tools that takes them to the next level. And those tools are there because billion-dollar, trillion-dollar, billion-dollar, million-dollar, $100 million businesses didn't happen by accident. There's very, very clear tools and structures and principles behind these kind of businesses. And at that point, the entrepreneur has 3 choices. Choice number 1 is do nothing and continue to be frustrated forever and have a business that basically is not at its capacity and is very frustrating and it's not predictable, and they might make good money, but it's really a pain in the butt. Option number 2 is to shrink back and basically become a very simple, small business again where everything is under control, everything is overseeable, but it is frustrating to not have lived up to your potential. And option number 3 is to actually figure out what are these tools, what do I have to do as a leader in order to grow beyond that, and put in the 4 pieces, because it's always around those 4 pillars that stuff starts happening. And if they make that choice, those are the business owners that we can help, that we can work with.
Like I said, and I want to tip my hat to you, Jack, and I want to tell the audience here, I'm going to buy about 100 houses this year in my hometown. Maybe I'll wholesale about 40% of them. I'll probably retail about 10% of them, and I'll probably own or finance the other 50 houses. I couldn't have done that without your help. So when you told me that you were going to make this mastermind, I knew firsthand that you'd be successful at helping people because you had helped me change my life. Because I'm going to tell you right now, because of you and because of the conversations that we had and a lot of input that you gave me, I won't see 15 of those 100 houses. I won't see them. I won't see them when I buy them. I won't see them when I sell them. I won't see them probably ever. I might see some pictures of them float across the meeting room table, but I've never been to them. The things that you told me and the discussions that we had enabled me to actually, and I'm going to wrap up what you're saying all in a big old book, it allowed me to own a business and have a life.
Yeah.
To own a business and have a life. And isn't that what you're talking about? Is to own a business, reach your maximum potential. I mean, my maximum potential is not 100 houses. It may be 100 or it might be 150, or it might be 200. I don't know. Because if I keep improving just the processes that you helped me learn how to put in, then who knows what my potential is. But the greatest part about it is it doesn't require me working harder. And in fact, the less I worked and the more I got out of my way, the more volume we did and the more money we made, which I found to be completely astounding. The less I worked, physically. I mean, I always thinking about it, but even now I don't have to think about it anymore. It runs itself. I went hunting the other day for 10 days in a place where my phone wouldn't work. I came back and I had bought more houses than I used to buy when I was here, and I had sold more houses than I used to sell when I was here. I found it quite gratifying. I found it rewarding. And most of all, I felt like I was getting my life back, and I was having the best of both worlds. I was able to grow and actually start to feel like a real businessman. At the same time, I was able to spend time with my family and get my rest. And now when I show up to work, like I'm invigorated, I actually look forward to going to the Thursday meetings, even though I don't have to. I look forward to going because I'm rested and I've got my energy back and I'm ready to try to help the guys see what their problems is and see if I can chime in. But I don't have to go. And so that's why I knew you'd be good at this, because you were good at helping me. And so I was excited about it, and I wanted to put you out in front of the audience out here, because it doesn't matter what business you have. You're going to hit a ceiling of complexity at some point, especially if you started the thing from the ground up. That's quite different than I watched a man speak the other day that started a chain of restaurants here and has gone all over the state of Texas. The people that took it over from him, they got to inherit a 3-generation set of systems that had been proven for years. The entrepreneur goes out and originates something from dirt. And a lot of times, and especially, I know I did in my case, I outran my own mental capacity. I couldn't handle it anymore. It was getting bigger than I could even fathom. We started adding some extra zeros to the end of the column. I started to get confused. And that's just me. Like you told me, I just brought some people in it, and it helped me solve not only that problem, but I have salespeople now. I have acquisition people. I don't know. The whole thing's just a whole different animal. And I haven't been to my office in 4 or 5 days. I talk to them on the phone every now and then when I need to, but my business is running. And I wanted to thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to your mastermind.
Thank you very much. I'm very humbled here by that. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. So, yeah, you said some great things right now, not just about us, but about the principle of business growth. Yeah, the entrepreneur starts something from scratch, and most entrepreneurs are not trained to grow this. And I love what you said about outrunning your mental capacity, because it's another description of that ceiling of complexity. I've never heard anyone say it like that, but with your permission, I will adopt that, because that's brilliant, because that's exactly what happens. You feel like you're constantly running, and in your mind you can create a business that's too complicated or too many tentacles often for you to really be able to do that. And it has part to do with the entrepreneur's personality, which is typically slated in one direction of like a quick start, a visionary wanting to do certain things. And at some point of time, you got to bring in somebody, or at least you got to be able to put some other pieces in place while not forgetting your vision, because otherwise you're just basically working in the trenches and forgetting what you do this for.
Like what you told me, you said, well, how are you training your people? I said, Jack, I don't train people. Like the secretary. She walked in, we interviewed her. I said, okay, you're hired. There's your desk. There's the phone. Call me when you figure out something you don't know how to do. And then she'd call me, and I wasn't available because I was out doing stuff. I mean, that's how I train people. I just sat them in the chair and showed them the phone. You're going to have to train them. And I said, I don't want to train them. I don't like to train them. I don't know how to train them. He says, well, you don't have to train them. Get someone else to train them. And I said, well, there's and then all of a sudden I'm like quiet in my tracks. Like, well, there's an idea, but how do you do that? All of a sudden now I got people training people, and I'm not the trainer. Because here's the other thing I figured out. One of the reasons why I wasn't growing in certain directions is because I hated that part of it. I hated training people. I hate it. You know what I mean? As far as training my employees. Now, if you want to learn how to buy and sell real estate, I don't mind training you at all. But if you want me to train you how to run the office and set the file cabinets up and do the spreadsheet and print out the reports and everything, I hate it. It's not me. I'm not going to do it. And so therefore it didn't get done. And I finally managed, with a lot of help from Jack and a couple other people, to sit down and build a team where I don't have to do the things I don't like to do. I just got to make sure that they're getting done. That's all.
There's a process. There's amazing integrators out there, the right who's that you can bring into the business to help you basically create an onboarding process, a training rhythm. You train in batches so that you hire 1 week all the salespeople, you train them all at once. You do ongoing rhythms of training, depending on the different functions and the different departments in the business. Yeah, absolutely. And the visionary is not that person, that's not your genius, and it would be completely dissatisfying and very unhappy. You would be very unhappy if you had to do that day in and day out. And what you'll find is that most business owners, out of need and necessity, are doing those things because they don't know, that they were looking at these 4 pillars systematically, starting with you as a leader and then going into the who. Those people that you bring on board as part of your team are the ones that help you then figure out, a better strategy, a better tactic, a better process, a better system, and so on and so forth.
Well, I fell back in love with my business. So if you guys want to fall back in love with your business, if it's just gotten to where it's out of hand and you want to fall back in love with your business, learn how to work on the business instead of work in it. So here's what you do. You go to 1000houses.com/UB as an Ultimate Boardroom, and you just click there. It's going to be right there where you click to listen to this interview. The link's going to be right there below. You'll find it right here where you clicked for the interview. But it's 1000houses.com/UB as in Ultimate Boardroom. Anything else you want to add, Jack, Michelle, before we go?
I would say if you're already going to be in business and you're spending a bunch of time building this business, why not use this business? Why not use the enterprise to really sculpt yourself as a leader and grow? Not just in your business, but also in your family life, in your community and your industry.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, you have certain goals and you have certain frustrations in your business. But at the end of the day, we all want to be happy. We all want to have fun doing what we're doing. And I love what you said again, Mitch. First of all, thank you for having us again. And secondly, you mentioned that you fell in love with your business again. And that's exactly what happened to us when we implemented that, because we also had some periods where we made good money and things like that, but we weren't enjoying what we're doing anymore. And it's because that's when we discovered that we were missing some of these pillars. And we're very good in the automation and very good at the systematization of things. So we were taking vacations and things like that and having a business that was running, but when we're coming back into the business, we weren't enjoying it necessarily all day long. And so by discovering those 4 pillars and what's underneath them, each of them has a set of different pieces that you can work on and put in place. And just putting in the basic pieces in place, all of a sudden, we started falling back in love with our business and we started actually feeling like we had a real business, like you said that before. Because you have a real business if the business doesn't rely on you. That's a very good distinction somebody made the other day. If you cannot leave your business for 2 weeks at a time and come back and everything is as good or better than when you left, you don't have a business.
You just have people that help you.
You're making money and you have people helping you make money then. But a true business is a business that doesn't rely on you, that lives your vision, that lives under your leadership, where people are hand-selected such that they enjoy working in it and where everything is buzzing, but where they don't need you to be there on a day-to-day basis. Where, as a matter of fact, ultimately things work better if you're not there. And just one little anecdote. Now when we go on vacation, we love to go for like 3 weeks in summer. We go to Hawaii. We tell our team, if something urgent comes up, text us. Because I still have my phone there. I'm reading a book. I'm taking pictures of our daughter on the beach and so on. And you know what? We go now for 3 weeks and we don't get a single text. That means if I don't get a text, I don't need to check my email because there's nothing in my email that's urgent enough for me to have to check it. And that's our definition of freedom and our definition of thing. And at the same time, our people stay for years and years and years with us. They love it. But anyway, I could talk back on because it's a beautiful situation to be in, a beautiful business and life to have. And I would everyone that listen to that, if you already have a business, if you're already doing like 6 figures a year or so, if you're already making good money, but you're frustrated with where you are, you want to reach that next level, you feel like this, what I talked about with that ceiling that applies to you, then contact us. Go to the link that Mitch just mentioned and set up a phone consultation with us where we can see if we are a match for you.
Jack and Michelle will make sure that you're a match. They don't want anybody to come that's not a fit or that's not going to benefit, so just take the time to talk with them. 1000houses.com/UB as in Ultimate Boardroom. And one thing before we go, and I just want to tell you, I was talking to my wife, and we'd gone on vacation, and she knows that I had worked so hard and talked to you a lot about implementing this stuff. And at one point during the vacation, like towards the end of it, my wife said, "No one's called us for anything." And I said, "Yeah, isn't it great?" She said, "I think I'm kind of depressed." I said, "Why are you depressed?" She goes, "They don't need us anymore." And I said, "No, that's celebration for a drink. Hey, bartender, come over here." Let's have a drink. Did you hear what you just said? You're depressed because this business is running without you. Are you crazy? We need to pop a bottle of champagne. We've been here for 6 days and no one's called us for anything.
It is a weird feeling at first.
I love you guys, man, and I know you're going to help a lot of people. You certainly helped me, and now you're going to have more of a formal setting. I mean, you just helped me just kind of informally, so I can just imagine what this mastermind is going to be like. And there'll be plenty of sharp people in the room, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's our number one thing, that we want to keep the quality. This is not a beginner's program. It's a program for people who already have a business. And they're basically, we talk to every single one of them ourselves. We do have a sales floor for other things, for our real estate business, but this is our heart piece. This is something that we really care about.
This is our 10x growth in terms of the impact, which is amplifying other leaders.
And we really came to the same conclusion of when we go on a regular basis to the 4 pillars, we identified that this is something that really is close to our heart. So we talk to every single person that is interested in it and see if it's a good match. And part of a good match is, we only have great people in there that are doing something that can share, because the spirit of it is one of sharing your good, bad, and the ugly, so that everyone can help each other avoid any kind of pitfalls and celebrate the successes together.
That's great. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. 1000houses.com/UB as in Ultimate Boardroom. Thanks a lot, Jack. Thanks a lot, Michelle. I appreciate you being on. It's been great.
Thank you, Mitch.
You've been listening to the Owner Financing Master, Mitch Stephen, on the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. Let us now blatantly, without apology, bribe you towards financial freedom by offering you a whole bunch of free stuff. Go to reinvestorsummit.com and get you some. And y'all come back now, you hear?